Hello and welcome everybody to this HeflaTV presentation of the Join Dota League Season number 3, the European Division 2, a two-game series between my carry Can't Be This Kawaii and nLions. My name is Coucher and once again I am joined by Mike Loris.
What's up, man? Yeah, I've actually seen both of these two teams play before, which is pretty cool. I don't know who Satan is, but he has an old Owlkin, I believe, picture from Warcraft 3, so he has to be pretty good.
Oh yeah, at least if that's something to go by then for sure. And actually, I haven't seen too much of either team, at least not recently. nLions, I do believe they had quite a roster shuffle at least a couple of months ago or something. And Kawaii, well, man, that name is just so sick. And for anybody who doesn't understand Japanese or doesn't know what Kawaii means, it's cute. So yeah, just anime fans all around, I guess. But looking at the draft, just like always, 100% standard, no curveballs coming our way. Faceless Void, Skywrath Mage, just such a deadly combination. Chronosphere into Mystic Flares. Whereas Razor, of course, is actually a really good hero to somewhat counter the Faceless Void.
Yeah, he's a hero that could normally survive a Chronosphere. He's is a very tanky slanted hero, a lot more so than the Earthshaker, even though Earthshaker is a strength hero, which is going to be the partner pickup for my carry. Can't be this Kawaii, but Razor should have the lane wherever he's in. Usually it's just completely in lockdown mode. It's not going to be Faceless Void, it's not going to be Skywrath Mage. Razor is a little bit vulnerable to ganking, but if he has any points in the unstable current, and if he gets any static link on the enemy laner beforehand, then it's actually really hard to deal with the Razor in lane. You have to really get a lot of nuking power on him. With Skywrath Mage on the field, that is very possible, but nLions are going to need someone else to roam with that Skywrath Mage.
Yeah, they most certainly do. And actually, speaking of the roaming potential, like support duos, they themselves actually ban out a Wraith King, which usually is used in combination with the Skywrath. Maybe they are a little bit afraid of a Wraith King carry because usually the Faceless Void wants to use the Chronosphere to just shut down one hero completely. Or maybe, well, multiple heroes if he can help it, but just at least get 100% one kill and go 5 versus 4 the rest of the fight. But Wraith King, he would just pop back like Reincarnation, no problem.
Yeah, it is a little bit annoying to deal with from Faceless Void. It's definitely more of a ban towards a carry Wraith King than it is towards a support Wraith King, because Wraith King and Earthshaker dual melee supports, that gets really awkward since they both have to be really close to the target in order to hit, and then you get into the whole body blocking, people getting in each other's way situation. It's something that you would rather avoid if you can help it. My carry can't be this Kawaii though. They're going to ban out a Tinker as well as Death Prophet. Saw this in some of the previous sets games. Just getting rid of any sort of pushing whatsoever. So they don't want to be pressured early on. They want to play this slow and steady. And I think nLions with Faceless Void pickup, they're going to be okay with that.
Yeah, they probably are. And do you actually see any bold predictions about what either side is going to pick up?
Well, unless there's the third pick is pretty much going to be the big tell. I mean, Earthshaker, Razor, Skywrath, Faceless Void. These sets of heroes can go into anything. Like my carry can pretty much go super aggressive if they wanted to, but obviously with Razor and Earthshaker, it doesn't really indicate that just yet. Faceless Void, Skywrath Mage is usually a combination that needs a little bit more time to get going, so I don't think nLions are going to be looking to be super aggressive early on, but again, if they pick up a super aggressive hero for their third slot, if either side picked up someone like a Jakiro or a Chenchantress, anything like that, then of course it can redirect the flow of it. I don't think there's any really superpowered heroes in the game except for, I was gonna say Shadow Shaman. I was gonna say that before they picked, I promise.
Yeah, that hero is just crazy strong, and if you position the Mass Serpent Horse correctly, even those can be used as external damage into the Chronosphere. I'm still expecting maybe even something like an Invoker to come out for them as well, just as a mid laner. Just the Sun Strikes into Chaos Meteors, Deafening Blasts, just so much damage into Chronospheres. And of course, getting some extra pushing power with the Forge Spirits in combination with the Shadow Shaman definitely wouldn't hurt either, really.
Yeah, Shadow Shaman wards do hit into the Chronosphere. Could have also been a Witch Doctor. It's a very popular combination for Faceless Void teams, because you could always drop that Death Ward with the Chronosphere, and then usually you don't even have to pick up the pieces of the enemies because they're just all dead. By carry though, going to go with the Wind Ranger as their third pickup. Very, very interesting to see.
Yeah, indeed it is. I mean, it's a flexible hero to say the least. You can literally play any role except for, I guess, jungling. At least you would be really slow in jungling. I mean, off lane, mid lane, support, you name it, she can do it. So they have some flexibility going around, and Northern Lions, they have to like just guess what their role is gonna be. What do you have anything in mind? Like, is it gonna be off lane Wind Ranger like in the old days, or just gonna be mid lane?
If it is going to be an offlane Wind Ranger, she's going to be going up against, at the very least, Shadow Shaman and Scarab Mage, potentially a Faceless Void. She does have Wind Run, so it's a pretty good survivability tool, but I would rather see her played as support. As I say that, Omni Knight is going to be the pickup. I'm not sure if I saw them play it or if it was a different team. They ran an Omni Knight solo safe lane. It was a little bit awkward, or it might have been them. I don't really recall. I also saw another team run Omni Knight Pudge, so that is something we might want to keep our eyes open for. But Omni Knight as well as Invoker.
Yeah, I mean, Dominate is actually a pretty nice pickup here, because that completely negates the effect of the Chronosphere Mystic Flare combination, not to mention any of Invoker spells to follow that up. You can just repel anybody who gets caught in that, and of course, that means that Dominate has to position himself perfectly. Oh wow. Man, this Omni Knight, I really like that my carry there at least doing something different. We've both the Wind Ranger and now the Omni Knight as well. I do recall a game as well when the Omni Knight was played solo safe lane. I have no recollection at all what team it was though. But we might see it again. Some teams have even ran Omni Knight off lane, just straight out. Just have the repel, be able to escape the Skyref and the Shadow Shaman. Might be possible.
Yeah, the Omni Knight pickup is going to be always a little bit awkward to evaluate. Of course, the repel can be very useful right now, but are you really going to want to repel your Razor? Usually you want your Razor to be the target of focus at least a little bit, so that he could make use of his mech. He can make use of how tanky he is. If you repel him, he's just going to be pretty much ignored by everyone. Northern Lions going to finalize their lineup with a Clockwork, so get a little bit more initiation on the board, get a little bit more early game presence. So look, they're looking strong in late game, and my carry going to go with the final pick, Anti-Mage. He can't be this Kawaii.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what I thought as well, man. Oh wow, an Anti-Mage. Haven't seen that for ages. And of course, with him being just so highly mobile, has the ability to maybe even get a nice clutch blink out of the Chronosphere, for example, just before it comes out. And of course, Clockwork. Anti-Mage doesn't really care about the cogs at all, just blinks out of them. So in that sense already, it's pretty decent. But now, it's just a matter of whether it will be just Omni Knight pure support or Wind Ranger. I guess Omni Knight is gonna play the offlane role, leaving Wind Ranger as a support, because Earthshaker Omni Knight as supports would be just ugh.
Yeah, also, going back to the Anti-Mage pick, it is a hero that we don't really see all that often. I think at this game, you could kind of see why, because Northern Lions, they obviously weren't expecting an Anti-Mage. We definitely weren't expecting an Anti-Mage, yet they've gotten themselves so many answers to that hero. Skywrath Mage with the Silence is such a great hero to have versus the Anti-Mage. The Shadow Shaman, very similar to that, and with CA's long-range initiation, this Anti-Mage, though he will have protection from Repel and from Purification and all that stuff, Fissures, he is not going to have the best of times in this game unless he has a super, super great start, which against a solo lane Clockwork, that may happen, but he's definitely vulnerable to being ganked.
Yeah, he definitely is. I mean, I feel like the Dark Side, they just kind of have to hold on to a certain point in time, just get the farm safely without giving too much away. Of course, it will be so hard, especially up against an Exort Invoker as well as a Shadow Shaman. So once the Mass Serpent Wars come out with the 4 spirits, I think Northern Lions, they can just force the issue kind of, and Kawaii, can they stand up to that? But we'll see. But to introduce the lineups for Kawaii, on the Dire side, June will be playing the Omni Knight at the moment, at least heading towards the offlane, with Pashrook playing the Earthshaker, gonna block out the creeps just to help out their offlaner. As, well, I have no idea if it's an L at the start, but Lallis playing the Razor, and safe lane, Sai playing on the Wind Ranger, and Supercell on the Anti-Mage.
Last time I casted him, that was a J. I don't know what happened or whatever. We just call them Jallies or whatever, but we'll see. On the nLions side, we have on the bottom lane supporting, it's going to be John or Jean, I don't know. Skywrath Mage is going to be on the bottom lane supporting, along with Satan's Shadow Shaman. Ingman is going to be farming up the bottom lane, as the Faceless Void already has a poor man's shield, so he's going to be pretty safe in that lane. Phantom is going to be on the mid lane Invoker, and that leaves CA up on top with the Clockwork. He's already packing double damage rune.
Well, I can totally see myself calling Satan at some point during this game just by accident.
I'll allow it.
When you said that name, I was like, Satan. Oh god, no, no, no Satan.
That's
But
fine. I'll allow that. Sounds good to me.
I mean, one thing that's definitely not surprising at this point in time is that it's gonna be an Exort Invoker after all. Surprise, surprise, together with a Faceless Void. Who would have guessed, but...
And not only
how would we actually... If we wouldn't have the Faceless Void or any combos whatsoever for the Sunstrike and whatnot, do you prefer Exort or Vex Invokers?
I think in general, Exort is just a lot stronger. I mean, not only do you have the Faceless Void, but you also have the Clockwork. Once he puts up those cogs, that's the giant bullseye on the map that it's very easy to land a Sunstrike straight after. Wexvoker has certainly its weaknesses and its strengths, but I think just the right-click damage you get from going Exort is almost too difficult to ignore.
Yeah, probably is, and we see one rotation already. Pashrook, he actually comes in. I don't know if one Fissure will be enough to just kill the Invoker. He doesn't have Tangos, actually. Well, at least for another 50 seconds he can't use the shared Tango anymore. So a perfect Fissure might be enough, although I don't think the Razor really wants to dive that far under the tower as it is.
Yeah, that's a really, really easy way of getting your Razor killed if he dives that far. Invoker doesn't have any Quas, so there's no Cold Snap just yet. But as of right now, the Earthshaker is doing literally nothing. Like, I don't know if he's expecting to be aggressive. He's going to get a Fissure off, but the length just isn't there. I don't think it's even possible to get a complete block off at that angle. So Phantom was never in any danger throughout that entire time. And so Earthshaker's going to rotate up and hopefully put a little bit more pressure towards Clockwork. And that's a much easier hero to kill, and especially in this tri-lane.
Yeah, it's... I mean, I guess he was just trying to make his presence known in the mid lane. Maybe buy some time for the Razor. Which of course didn't happen. Actually, the Clockwork is getting a lot of farm top lane. He's already level 3.5, 7 last hits and 1 deny, which is exactly the same as the anti-mage has. Oh, another Fissure block comes out. Pashrook, he just didn't want to give the Invis rune away, although it still might happen, and this rune control definitely wasn't spot on from the dire side.
I think Earthshaker actually blocked himself from stealing that Invis rune, which is kind of unfortunate. But yeah, Clockwork, he's getting a little bit CS. Of course, that is at the expense of his skill build. He is going to go for what looks like a maxed out Rocket Flare build, which isn't the best thing for Clockwork. Most times you want to be going for Battery Assault, because if you do catch someone with the cogs, especially if it's someone like Earthshaker, you could really easily find solo kills off of that. But for right now, getting CS off of Rocket Flare is all well and good, especially since the rest of the lanes are seemingly going rather well, especially the bottom lane. Ingmin's having a very easy time. 11-6 Invoker versus 7-2 Razor. Invoker is having a very easy time as well, and he's actually gone for a very early point in Wex.
Yeah, that's actually kind of weird. I can't say I have seen that happening at least for a year or more even. But maybe he has something special in mind. Maybe just wants at one point into Wex for that extra little movement speed to outrun the static link.
Bottom line, June is going to get shackled up, but he's going to repel himself and then just walk away. I don't think they have the right click damage to do this. It's going to be close, but he will be fine. I think I've seen one other player do this. I don't recall if it was Phantom. Again, so many Invoker players, so many players in general that have been covered, so I don't really know. But if it was Phantom, then he was a huge fan of Alacrity. He would always have that on himself. And once you get 4 points in Exort, it does do some pretty heavy damage, and he's probably going to go straight towards the 4 points in Quas Exort straight after, a little bit more of a standard Invoker build. But having that Alacrity and early access to Chaos Meteor, if you have some sort of setup, i.e. Cogs, i.e. Chronosphere, then it'll be really good.
Clockwork might be in trouble, Supercell just harassing him now, the Stout Shield is there. Oh, I think the power shot just barely missed there. Maybe clipped him, but...
And the Fissure just barely missing the Salve cancel, which is huge. That means Clockwork gets to go right back into the lane without mana, to be fair, but he's going to be very, very healthy. However, they're converging upon him. They don't have another Fissure for another second. However, they will find it now. Can he get the Fissure block? He will. Lane forward for Supercell way too far, but CA is in such an awkward position. He's going to buy a TP just to spend the rest of his gold before he does go down, but I think this guy is as good as dead. It's going to be the Wind Ranger claiming first blood.
Yeah, that Clockwork definitely felt a little bit too eager there without mana. Of course, having seen one Fissure fail, he was maybe feeling a little bit overconfident. But clarity is on the Earthshaker, just making sure that he has enough for another one. So well played overall by Kawaii there. 5 minutes in, we finally get the first blood. Faceless Void, of course, just keeps on farming away. Going for a Hand of Midas by the looks of it. Actually, one thing that Northern Lions are kind of lacking is just a so-called natural carrier for a diffusal blade just to deal with that Omni Knight later on in the game.
I have seen Faceless Voids go for Diffusal Blades in order to counter that. It's a little bit of an awkward item. Usually you want to go for something that hits a little harder than Diffusal Blade, but Repel is just such a huge item, a huge skill to get rid of that it may or may not be worth it. Once again, Bashrik is in the mid lane. Still, it's only a level 1
Bottom lane
fissure.
Tune gets hexed up, the right clicks are coming in, the Ancient Seal is there as well. Together with the Shackles, it should be a kill, and indeed it will be. Inkman getting one nice lucky time lock there as well, just to make sure no heals or repels come out. But mid lane, the Fissure actually did some decent damage to Phantom, but no kills happening, so in the end it's a 1-for-1 on the scoreboard.
Yeah, they got the Fissure off, they got the Static Link, Plasma Field hit at almost max range, so Phantom got hit pretty hard from that. Wind Ranger was in the area, but not close enough to actually do anything, but in the end it is just a kill for, or kill on the Omni Knight. Invoker does manage to keep himself safe for now, and CA up on top. Ooh, that could have been really, really close. He was just barely on the right side of the Fissure. He gets to walk home.
Yeah, the Fissures are just such clutch things as well. It can be beautiful as a setup overall, and I mean, still Phantom XP, having only 2 points into Quas at the moment, doesn't reach up as fast as he would probably love to. One more nice Plasma Field might get the kill. Alacrity, is there the Plasma Field? Actually, yes. Chalice, he does get the kill on the Razor. Man, Phantom, he was playing with fire and he got burnt.
He had a salve also. I don't really know what was going on there. I guess he thought Ghost Walk would have been more than enough to keep himself safe, but level 4 Plasma Field, if you hit it at that much distance, it does a lot of damage for a level 4 skill, so you have to respect that coming out from the enemy Razor and Invoker. He was sitting pretty in that lane. With that death, not so much.
Yeah, and well, Kawaii at the moment, they're just buying time, more or less, for Supercell to farm up. He's picked up last hits as well. The Faceless Void early on, he was actually quite a lot ahead of the Anti-Mage, but now 42 and 19 on the Faceless Void compared to 41 and 15 now. So Supercell definitely farming up and going for the Battle Fury, unless, you know, there's no way it's gonna be a Vanguard or Linken's anyway, so just standard Battle Fury Anti-Mage.
Unfortunately for the Shadow Shaman, he tried to get a gank off in the mid lane, but this Dire Observer Ward in the mid lane revealed him, and then the creeps attacked him, so then he knew he was revealed, which is always very awkward. He's holding on to 2 points in Hex, kind of uncharacteristic at this stage. You would expect 2 in Shock. It's not going to make that much of a difference. However, Jaylee's as well as Bashrik, they're going to look to make more aggression happen as the Fissure does fly out. Phantom is going to slowly be drained out. Here comes Satan for the Hex. He's going to attack really slowly because of that unstable current. Shackle is there as well, but Satan all of a sudden has got to turn around and just run. Power Shot it looked like it hit, but it didn't do any damage, so Phantom's gonna come right in. Deafening Blast Meteor will do a lot of damage to the Earthshaker. Shadow Shaman will go down in the end. The Razor's still pretty healthy as he does have a lot of restoratives, and he's going to run away. Should be just fine. Concussive Shot already used. Another Bird's gonna fly after Razor, but he's fast enough. However, CA is gonna cut off his retreat with the Cogs and the 11th Blue Battery Assault. That's gonna be a dead Razor as he tries to pick up Gene. In the meantime, it's not gonna happen. CY still in the area with 2 points of Power Shot and a Haste Rune. He's gonna look to snipe off someone, but he's not gonna find anyone.
Yeah, and actually, funny enough, that the Shadow Shaman has put 3 points into Hex, so maxing out Hex straight out, not gonna go for the usual Ether Shock max. Of course, may have been something that not saved his life, but just made Kawaii dive so far that the Razor died together with the Earthshaker. Of course, Earthshaker, thank god that he was actually in XP range for the kill before, because he was only level 2 before that even happened. So, both supports were a little bit struggling for levels at the moment, so I think it's even. Nope. Northern Lions, they are level 5, whereas Kawaii supports are level 4, so it's actually really important to just get those level 6s up, at least on most supports. Not like the Wind Ranger cares that much, I guess.
And a lot of how that fight went back to the 1 point Wex for Invoker, opening the door for, again, Deafening Blast, Chaos Meteor. It's a little bit of a difficult combination to land this early on, but when the enemies line up like that, I mean, you can't really ask for better skills. Forge Spirits definitely wouldn't have done as much damage as a Chaos Meteor, so Phantom getting a correct decision, whether planned or just by happenstance. He ended up getting a pretty good exchange for his team off of that 1 Wex point, and he can continue to do that, and he is staying very, very often on this Alacrity for this bonus damage.
Yeah, so far he's played pretty damn well, and he's actually going for a Hand of Midas as well. It is fairly common on Expert Invokers, at least like 80% go for it, it feels like. Especially if you're having a decent enough time farm-wise, or net-worth-wise. He's not the highest at the moment, but he's definitely going to catch up, and together with the Faceless Void, if they have high enough levels, which means, of course, lower cooldowns, as well as just more damage input into the Chronospheres. If they catch anti-mage, even an anti-mage with maxed out spell shield probably isn't going to be enough to survive unless he is like 6 slotted almost already.
This game is going to be a really long one. Of course, the Kawaii side with anti-mage, he's going to head towards Battle Fury, and once you get that, then you do nothing but farm for another 15-20 minutes. The Razor on Kawaii also going to be going for a Midas. So CA up on top lane is going to get fissured, but with Battery Assault and Cogs, I think he should be fine. Supercell can't quite chase that one out. But yeah, Invoker and Razor, actually, they're both going to go for Hands of Midas. Third Midas was on the Faceless Void that was picked up a lot earlier. So both of these teams gearing up for the late game as Phantom's going to get shackled in the shadow of his tier 1 tower. The static link is there, plus the plasma field. Phantom's taking a good amount of damage, but he should be fine.
I'm so used to just the shackle being level 4, and once you get shackled, you're pretty much dead, but first level shackle, not as scary at all, but Clockwork is in the mid lane. Can he actually land a hook shot? He wants to try to go for it. Now the creeps come in as well, and CA has to back off. I thought like maybe go for the Wind Ranger instead, just grab an easy kill, but didn't get either. But in the meantime, Inkman just putting some pressure already on the tier 2. So they're just having free reign at least on this bottom lane.
Ingman doesn't exactly have a fighting build, as Jellies does get texted up, but nothing really to follow up there. He's going for a little bit more of a passive skill build for Faceless Void, prioritizing Time Walk and a little bit more backtrack over the Time Lock. So he's not looking to fight just yet. He should have about maxed out Time Lock once he picks up the Mask of Madness, which he should have relatively shortly, especially if he gets this tower down. He's put a lot of damage onto this tower, and Kawaii, they haven't had any response so far.
At least Anti-Mage actually claims the tower top. It was destroyed by, I think, a Siege Creep. A Supercell might be in trouble, gonna get hexed up. No, not enough mana for the Shackles. The Silence is there together with the Mystic Flare, but Supercell just runs out of it, blinks away. And he's there to save the Amansadon. If he just had those Arcane Boots bought by Chan a second earlier, get those Shackles to follow up, might have been enough, but unfortunately not to be.
That was actually super lucky by Supercell. He blinked through that area, like he blinked into the secret shop in order to pick up his Perseverance, which is, you know, a fine thing to do. You don't expect to run into 2 enemy supports, but unfortunately for him, the Mystic Flare was completely whiffed. Seidan didn't have enough mana to get his full combination out, and they had to let the Anti-Mage walk away. That would have been a pretty important kill if they managed to secure that, but unfortunately it just wasn't going to happen. But something that might happen is in the middle lane where the Fissure is going to block off Phantom. Unfortunately, it'll also block off the friendly Razor. So Phantom, he's just going to walk up top. Doesn't have a phase boots or anything like that, so he's going awfully slow, but with the concussive shot to back him up, he should be just fine.
Yeah, everybody just backs off, and actually bottom lane, the Faceless Void used his Chronosphere. I don't know if he actually wanted to set up a kill, but in the end he just used it defensively more or less. At least maybe when he saw, I think, an Omni Knight pop up there as well. So kill scored 3-3, 30 minutes in. Looking at the graphs as well, it's almost zeroed out on gold. Nobody has had a huge lead at all in this game. XP also only 500 in Northern Lions' favor. So, like you said as well a couple of minutes ago, we're probably going to be looking at a really long game. Both teams have a pretty moderate amount of late game. Although I think Kawaii probably have the better of it there, but even that's so hard to tell.
They have Guardian Angel, which is going to be really big moving on. You generally want your Omni Knight to be a little bit more active early when your Purification is the scariest nuke and heal on the map. It hasn't happened just yet. He hasn't had the proper timing. However, Serpent Wards do get dropped up on top side. Fissure is going to split the wards, and they look pretty cool in that Fissure. But they're just going to peck away at the entire creep wave in the tower. With no Faceless Void Chronosphere here, I don't know if they exactly want to fight. They're going to try to get this free tower, but the tower's not taking as much damage as they would really expect. CA on the sidelines is going to get drained out a little bit, but Cogs will keep you safe. This push is not going to claim the tower, but I think that's going to be fine for both sides. Phantom is still farming away, as is the Anti-Mage.
Yeah, and the Anti-Mage actually just has his Claymore flying out, so Battle Fury finished 50 minutes in. Oh, but the Chronosphere comes out! Mask of Madness activated. I don't think it will be enough. The TP's there. Where's the Sunstrike? It's a little bit too late, but the time locks! Oh my god, are you kidding me, man? Mask of Madness, time locks. Those RNG.
That's not even a maxed out time lock, it's just his entire inventory, giving him a little bit more attack speed, Power Treads, Midas, Mask of Madness. That's it was an unexpectedly high amount of time locks, but it's still not it's not like into outrageousness just yet. So they secure a kill on the Anti-Mage, very well done for the nLions side, and they secured tier 1 tower. at the expense of a little bit of pushing up top. Not really a huge deal. However, the Razor and the Omni Knight, they're going to wrap around, and Phantom, well, he has a 4-staff, so he should be relatively safe. And in the meantime, bottom lane, Fissure, Basher, throw the Fissure already. There it is. No, that wasn't a complete wall up at all. Everyone's just going to walk away. Basher can't get close enough for anything else. Doesn't even have Echo Slam. Everyone's going to survive on the bottom lane. So nLions take a narrow lead in as far as kill score is concerned, but still, kills like this when the game is going to be so long, it's probably not going to matter too much in the long run.
Yeah, probably not unless you just start racking up a huge lead like 15-5 or something crazy like that happening. And of course, even then, when you don't get objectives and still like an anti-mage farms up the jungle, his own and his enemies of course as well, it might become crazy. And actually Supercell picks himself up a Ring of Protection, so is he going for a Vladimir's Offering now?
That's either that or he wants to waste gold. So it has to be a Vlad's Offering. It'll help him clear the jungle a little bit faster, and it'll keep him at full HP. With the Ring of Regen, it's definitely going to be a Vlad's off of that. So he'll have his Battle Fury going, but again, it's going to be met by Ingman's earlier Hand of Midas, and now that he's going for Lightning, this Faceless Void is going to get Battle Fury-esque amounts of clearing. So he's going to be able to keep toe-to-toe with the Anti-Mages. Phantom does get hit with the Fissure. Supercell does have Repel on him. He's going to jump forward for Phantom. The Serpent Wards, though, have been deployed. Phantom can find cover in that. He'll be just fine up on top. They use Serpent Wards and take a tier 1 tower. That's going to be a 1-tower lead for the nLions side thus far.
Oh, but CA, he's up with the Invis on the Clockwork. He wants to get the Earthshaker. Should be an easy kill with a maxed out battery assault if he just can get in range. Cobbs, oh, he even uses the hookshot for it. Just kill secure. Pashu can't go for any spells at all. Battery assault, the animation too good, and going for the TP out as well. Smart plays.
That BM teleporting out before you even get the kill because you know Battery Assault is going to get the kill must feel terrible as Earthshaker. Not only do they get the Shaker kill, they also get a free tier 2 tower on the bottom lane as Courier delivers the Maelstrom for Faceless Void. So his clearing, yeah, is going to be really, really high. And so far, Kawaii, they haven't responded at all to this Faceless Void. He's still 101. He's farming very, very happily. CY needs a shackle shot off of an Earthshaker Fissure or something, but instead, CY is going to get nailed to the floor. Ingman is going to get his damage drained out. He can't afford to fight this one. He's going to time walk away and be just fine, but Wind Ranger getting demolished by this very high level 11 Faceless Void.
Yeah, he just ran in and bam, down she went. A little bit unfortunate, but now Sadan, unfortunately doesn't have Mass Serpent Force, but of course Phantom has double Force Spirits out, so gonna apply a lot of pressure to the tier 2 to the top lane. And Chunwin and Omni Knight, all good and well. The Supercell actually goes aggressive as well onto Phantom. Not gonna go for too long, but I mean the Omni Knight, level 8, it doesn't provide much of anything as far as like proper counter pushing goes as well. So he really needs like +1 hero to come in and help him out.
The Omni Knight hasn't really been doing much of anything thus far. I haven't seen any huge purifications or even any sustained purifications. I don't even know if purification's done any damage to the enemy at all. So far this Omni Knight is kind of a dead pick. I'm sure later on he's looking to get potentially an Aghanim Scepter, so that Guardian Angel is going to be really balanced. But meanwhile in bottom lane, they're going to drop a Chronosphere onto the Razor plus the Mystic Flare. That is just a textbook combination, and now they're going to look for more. CY is going to get bashed. Fissure, thinking about it, there's the Fissure finally. However, Ingman on the right side of it, he's going to chase this Wind Ranger down. Now he's going to look for even more. He does not have the Massive Madness movement speed. However, CA is going to come right in, push him back with the Cogs, and Bashrik is going to be the 3rd kill. That's an easy 3 kill for 1 as the Shadow Shaman up on top does get sniped. It's not really a terribly huge deal because they get so much on this bottom lane.
Yeah, they didn't even need a Sunstrike or anything for those kills. Mystic Flare, just so much damage in the Razor. Him going for a Hand of Midas and Trumps afterwards. I mean, in theory, yes, he can still get some HP, but his boots were on agility as well, so not enough HP to just survive the raw damage output coming in from Northern Lions. And of course, it sets back the mech that usually Razors go for so much, if he's even gonna go for one at all this game.
It's a pretty greedy build from this Razor. If they had the mech, they'll definitely be more capable of fighting. But he definitely figured that, hey, they have Hand of Midas on Invoker and Faceless Void. I could probably go for a slower build. And it's punishing him right now. Supercell in the meantime is going to jump onto Phantom up on top. He has level 3 mana break, so he's doing some pretty decent damage, but not enough to actually kill this Invoker. In the meantime, the Forged Spirits do take out the tier 2 tower. So nLions, they get the Midases, but they're still going pretty aggressive onto the Kawaii side. And it looks like Kawaii, they just are constantly struggling for an answer somewhere. Faceless Void, he's found himself a Hyperstone and a completed Mjolnir once he has that Courier deliver it out. So this guy's going to be hitting very hard, very quickly.
Yeah, the attack speed is already through the roof. I mean, that's almost all the attack speed items that you really want. I guess you can go for AC on top of this as well to just completely berserk it out. But we'll see what he wants to go for. CA and the Clockwork has his Blade Mail finish now, working towards the 4-staff. Shadow Shaman just Arcane Boots, 1.5k in the bank. And the Invoker, does he buy anything? Nope. Still though, 5k gold in the bank for the Invoker. What's he gonna go for?
I think the most terrifying thing, you were mentioning attack speed. If you put Alacrity on this Faceless Void, oh god, people are going to be melting left and right, and he's going to go for Roshan now. Serpent Wards were dropped, though Ingman was doing just fine without them. It would have been a slow Roshan, but it would have been Roshan nonetheless. For lifesteal he has and the damage he's putting out, that's going to be in free Aegis for Ingman. I guess not free, they use the Serpent Wards, which is a pretty big pushing tool at this point. They can use it to take down tier 2 mid lane. But Ingman, with that double life, is going to be able to just dive in without a care in the world, because you only live twice with an Aegis. That makes him a little bit more flexible.
Oh, it's looking so good for Northern Lions. I do believe the kill score at some point was like 4-3 or something suddenly. 9-4. And looking at the graphs, oh my god, Northern Lions. They're up 11,000 gold, as well as around 7,000 XP. Man, this spiraled out of control so damn fast in Northern Lions. Will they be stopped by Kawaii, or will they just completely roll away with this game now?
Kawaii really don't have any great ways of starting anything. The best way they have are Fissure from Earthshaker and Shackle Shot from Wind Ranger. If those aren't going to land, then it's not going to happen. Ingman is going to find Bashrik and bash him down. Fissure will finally come out, but it's not going to matter. Ingman's now going to turn on Supercell. Does not have enough mana for a Chronosphere, unfortunately, but he does have the Aegis, so he doesn't really care if he does go down. Satan is going to run off to the side. The Mana Void does kill off Shadow Shaman, but here comes Phantom. He's going to try to go for the Razor, instantly snapping him up. Ingman's going to jump forward. Chronosphere onto 1. Not the best Chronosphere in the world, but it does secure the Razor nonetheless. 11-5 now as nLions. They take probably the worst fight they've taken all game, but still they come out on top.
Yeah, they got the hookshot onto the Wind Ranger as well, and better result to finish her up. I do agree with you that Ingman's Chronosphere, I don't know if it was the best choice. I was so sure the Razor is like 100% dead without it as well, but I guess kill secured. And going for tier 3s now. Alacrity was used on Ingman as well. Bashrook, can he set up something beautiful? Of course, no blink to go for the huge Echo Slam, but Repel is there, he's gonna run in. Can he get the Echo Slam at all? Can he get close enough? Ingman actually runs back into him, but oh, he backtracks all of it. That RNG, but the Purification, 80 HP, man. Ingman just time walks out of the power shot.
That was such a lucky backtrack. That's what backtrack does. It saves you when you really need saving, and well, that skill delivered. He's going to just very calmly start regaining HP off of dragons. So yeah, the Faceless Void is going to be an absolute monster moving forward. Getting Alacrity even stronger later on, right? It gave him 80 damage when he was wailing on that tier 3 tower, which he did manage to secure. But this Alacrity is only going to get stronger. Ingman himself is only going to get stronger. And Kawaii, though they do have an anti-mage who's farming okay, they really can't afford to fight right now. They just don't have what it takes.
Yeah, and Razor might be in trouble as well. Clockwork is there, he has the hookshot, does he even need it? Nope, he's actually gonna force step himself out. Doesn't really want to fight with a Razor with a static link being there. But man, Skyrift Mage, he picked up a point booster before, so I was like, probably gonna go for a Aghanim Scepter, I guess. Then he picked up a Vitality booster, I was like, Bloodstone, okay. But now has a Staff of Vigilance as well, so I guess casual point booster into Road of Athos.
That is the most awkward build-up I've ever seen. He's like going for 2.5 items all at the same time. But it's okay, because eventually he'll complete one of them, because they're getting a lot of tower gold. They're going to find the Earthshaker once again. Invoker does have Alacrity as CA does jump forward, and that is a dead Earthshaker. He's going to get stun locked due to that battery assault. Easy kill for nLions. Can they find anything else? Phantom does throw a tornado. Good attempt, but unfortunately a little bit off the mark. CY is going to make it home safely, but Shadow Shaman crucially does have his wards up, and they might want to go for high ground here, as Ingman is going to most assuredly take the tier 2 tower in the meantime.
Yeah, I mean, he has a PKB finish now as well. He's 4-0 and 4. Actually, what's his gold per minute? 649. So he's looking extremely good at the moment, and the last tier 2 probably is about to fall. Shadow Shaman, a little bit unlucky that he's not level 11 yet. Doesn't have the level 2 Mass Serpent Ward, but even without that, just having the Alacrity on Ingman might be enough already as it is. And Kawaii, they're gonna have to pull out something huge if they want to defend this bottom. And actually Ingman, he's the one backing off at the moment, stopping anti-mage's push. I thought that they're probably gonna go for the trade tier 2 for tier 3, possibly Rax.
They could have and probably could have gotten away with it, but again, it's a risk that they don't need to take. They are ahead, and they're going to continue to get further ahead, seeing as though they have Invoker Midas and Faceless Void Midas still working away. You might as well just back it up for a little while, save your Tier 2 tower, and then skip the Tier 3 and just go straight for their axes, which are exposed on the bottom lane. So nLions going to play a little bit more safe. Possibly get the Shadow Shaman up to level 11 for those level 2 wards, though it looks like that's not going to happen just yet. But I think they might be able to just brute force and at the very least take a ranged set of racks.
Yeah, I think so, especially now that Hex is finished on Phantom. So Invoker with a Hex just makes it even easier for them to set up any kills, especially on the anti-mage who is... Oh, actually just now finishes up his meta style. But that means if he gets caught, there's no buyback on him. And the Earthshaker, can he block somebody off? Going for the Fisher, he actually blocks off Ingman, but Ingman, he has a BKB, he jumps in as well, doesn't want to pop his Chrono, only onto one. Repel is there on Razor as well, Mass Serpent Wards, just going to get farmed up by Razor by the looks of it. As Alacrity and Ingman, they are a little bit hesitant on... Oh, they go in! Blink, Hex from Sadan. There's the ultimate from Omni Knight, but it's not going to do anything. The Mystic Flare is there a little bit more, that's all they need, and they finally get it. The Fang Blast to get the kill. Echo Slam is there, they get one in return. Now Supercell comes in, Hexed up immediately. Now Ingman, can he get the time locks? Can they get the kill on anti-mage meta style use? Can he? Yes. He actually blinks out of there. So a 1-for-1 so far. Shadow Shaman buys back Fisher to block off any further attempts, but that's going to be Rex.
Razor bought back as well. If Ingman jumps in on him, then this Razor could be really dead really quickly. The Wind Ranger was nailed down solo by the Clockwork. It was just easily hookshot cogs, and with the Serpent Wards pecking away at the Raxes all the while, they're going to secure a very, very easy set of Raxes. And once again, Kawaii, they just don't have what it takes. Anti-Mage, Mantle Style is great, Battle Fury is great, but in the end, he just can't survive. If he had a heart, then he would be golden right now. But unfortunately, items don't just appear like that. He's going to need a lot more time to farm that one up. And once he has that, they're going to be staring down the barrel of 2 sets of Raxes down.
Yeah, they just... I mean, to be honest, Northern Alliance, they had an awkward fight as it is, yet still Kawaii wasn't able to just make anything out of that. I think Northern Alliance, their potential for a team fight is like 10 times greater than what we saw in, in that last fight here. But they're just so far ahead at the moment. I mean, looking at the graphs, almost 20,000 gold XP, sitting around 12,000 almost. So, Kawaii, theoretically, yes, they can stage a comeback, but they might just be a little bit too far behind, especially now that one set of racks is also down.
It's not just their teamfight potential, it's their ability to start teamfights. Satan has his Blink Dagger, CA has his Hookshot, obviously his Clockwork, and once you have, Faceless Void has a jump in Chronosphere with Mystic Flare follow-up. What do Kawaii have? They're going to be on the defensive, which is the best case scenario for them, but they don't have any way of starting fights aside from a miracle 2-man Shackle Shot, and those just haven't been landing because the nLions have been bringing the fight to Kawaii so quickly that the Wind Ranger hasn't had a chance to react. So nLions have so far started every single fight on their terms, and when you're in the base trying to defend and the enemy is starting fights on their terms, that's not a good sign.
It most certainly is not then. Especially if you're also losing Roshan as a dire side. That just means something is wrong. And actually, Kawaii, it's a lineup in quite a while that I haven't seen as a dire side. You draft away usually to just get early Roshans, easy Roshans. But Kawaii, they have none of it. They can't even go for a fast sneaky Roshan, but Phantom might get caught. The Shackles, they actually don't land. There's the Hex and Hookshot actually into the Invoker himself. He forced himself forward. Can he get the cogs on anybody at all? No, he's going for the defensive ones and Phantom XP. Not going to get caught. Forced himself out over the Fisher. So mid lane, oh man, they're gonna get Razor. Inkman just Mask of Madness activated. One more right click, that's all he needs. Is he gonna get the chase? Razor is pretty damn speed though. Faceless Void, nope.
Static Charge.
Mjolnir, man.
The Static Charge is going to secure Faceless Void a free kill on the Razor. He does still have his Chronosphere, and this is looking like it's going to be set up right here as they all clump up. Ingman going to drop the Chronosphere onto 2, go straight to Talon Earthshaker. However, Guardian Angel will keep him alive. Anti-Mage wasn't Guardian Angeled, but looks like the Faceless Void didn't notice that. Supercell going to jump forward for a Mana Void onto that Shadow Shaman, but instantly hexed up and silenced. Ingman back in this fight is going to 3-shot CY, and then go straight for Supercell. He's going to pop the Manta Style off, confuse Ingman a little bit, but it's only a little bit. He's going to jump forward for June. This is going to be a triple kill for Ingman. No. The Skywrath Mage secures that one, but everyone is down. They don't have Serpent Wards, but I don't think it matters. Ingman is just way too big right now, and yeah, Kawaii, they call GG.
Yeah, there's just nothing to do anymore. I mean, Faceless Void, just the attack speed of him is absolutely ridiculous. He's getting time locks left and right. I mean, Anti-Mage got time locked, managed to pop off his Manta Style, And then the first hit after that into the right anti-mage, first of all, and then a straight up time lock as well. Oh man, it was just really painful to watch, but overall extremely well played by nLions, just from the draft as well as the execution of it.
I think they definitely had a vastly superior draft with, again, the initiation power that they had, and kind of baiting the Razor into going for a little bit more of a late game build, whereas if they had a mech, they probably could have gotten away with things a little bit earlier. Also, Omni Knight, I don't think he did anything this game.
He literally didn't do anything at all. Gold per minute, 168, a pure on support. I mean, the ultimates helped people survive for a little while, but at that point it was like, that's all
Mystic
it did,
Flare.
help them survive for like a couple extra seconds, and then they all just flopped anyway. But guys, it is a 2-game series, so Kawaii, they have one more chance to actually draw this series up and have some better standings overall in the group stage, so we'll see if they can manage to do so. We are of course HeflaTV. If you enjoyed what we did, be sure to follow us on our Twitch channels, as well as our social media, HeflaTV, for all the possible social media you can think of. And yeah, the links are below the stream as well if you want to check those out a little bit faster, but we're just heading into game number 2, so see you there guys.